Well, hello, wealthy women. It is Coach Tamara here. I am so excited to have this interview today. What a beautiful success story. So, this is really going to inspire you to get all of your money focus figured out, your goals, your strategies in life, and be inspired. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and have Victoria tell you all about who she is, what she does, how she can help, and where you can find her. And then, as you know, we're going to go into the round of success questions to find out and inspire you how she went ahead and built this beautiful dream business of hers. And so go ahead, Victoria. Let us know who you are and what is the name of your company, and tell us how you can help everybody.
Well, first of all, Tamara, thank you so much. This has been long in the making, trying to coordinate our times, and I'm so appreciative of your patience in us getting to work this out. So thank you
My
so much,
pleasure. My
because I'm
pleasure.
excited after meeting.
Very, me too.
Very excited. I love wealthy women every day. First of all, let's start with that. And
Yes.
the what we do here at Chapelwood, and I am CEO and founder of Chapelwood Financial Services. They call me the financial diva, and I say they. Radio show people dubbed me the financial diva during an interview. Of course, men did that. You know, that's what men do, right? They give you a nickname, and it just stuck. So my friends, my radio show, my book, everything it's all about the money, honey. So with my radio show, not only do I found Chapelwood Financial Services, and we are advisors to millionaires, but I have a radio show, which turns into a podcast weekly that we've done for probably now 15 years. We have my book by the same title. Why mess anything up? It works. So it's all about the money, honey. And we really work with helping millionaires understand what it is that they really dream of and what they want in life. And what it is, and we joke about on the radio show that we crack the code. And the code is that what all millionaires want is they want to go where they want, with who they want, for as long as they want. And it's just, and what does that equal? When you say, well, what is it that you want? And it's like, well,
Freedom.
I want freedom. I want to go
Yeah.
where I want. I want to do what I want. Well, for as long as I want, and you think, okay, well, what's holding you back? Well, it's always the money, honey. So you have to manage your money well. And so that's what we have done very successfully for going on almost 30 years now. And I just blink, I go, how did this happen? But it's been an absolute dream. And actually, I have a fashion degree, Tamara. So my fashion degree turned into finance. So there's this lady that did Paula Erickson. She did an interview with me, and it was supposed to be one of these little blips about at the bottom of a business page that just tells a little bit about the business. It's kind of filler for the newspaper. Well, after coming in with me, honey, it turned into a 2-page spread. And she wove so beautifully how, finance is very much like fashion. And it was a very easy transition for me. But I grew up, which is important, I think, for people that know me. They read my book, they understand. To understand that I came from less than humble beginnings. We joke about, and I say we, my brothers and sisters and I, joke about living in a matchbox. So there were 7 of us in 2 rooms, 1 bathroom with 1 little sink, no cabinet,
Oh, wow.
a medicine cabinet. I think back on it, we had a pony wall, and I would cook for my mom. My father abandoned us, and we're living in this little house. She remarries, but we're all living cramped in this little house. And there's 7 of us, and 9 on the weekends with my half brother and sister, or step brother and sister. So here we are, and I cook on a cook plate for all these.
Wow.
And that started when he abandoned us when I was 11. So it's not like I had any mentors about how to manage money. I just knew I didn't want to live this way.
Yes.
And when you decide, I don't know how I'm going to do it because I had no role models. I didn't have lunch money. I started my first job when I was 12, babysitting, because there was an apartment complex. And remember, I had no lunch money. That was embarrassing and hard. And so I decided I organize all these kids. My gosh, I might as well get paid for this. And I decided that I could manage 1, 2, 3, and all of these women that were single moms in this apartment complex in Fort Worth, Texas, saw how I orchestrated all the, community and games, and this is what we're doing and who's going to do it. And I was little bitty runt that I was, little, what was I probably then? 4 foot or something, but I could control everything. Everybody listened to what I said about this is a game we're going to play. This is going to be yours. This is going to, and I controlled how long we play it, and everybody behaved. So they saw that, and I started this babysitting. I, at 12 years old, because I figure if I'm babysitting one, why not multiple? Right? Maximize your time.
There you go.
And even then, I said, well, if I can babysit one, I can do two. If I can do two, I can do three. I would babysit up to 6 little children at 12 years old. I would
Love.
let one of our 12 years old take care of, yeah, but they trusted me. And that was actually my first business. And when we had
Yes.
to move, I was devastated because, there went my, money train. It was gone. And I had to come up with something else, and I became a preteen model and then taught modeling when I was
Love.
16. So, yeah, it's been an entrepreneurial venture without having, again, I used to be so jealous of hearing the word mentor, and, you had somebody take you under their wings to show you the
Yeah.
ropes. Like nobody did that for me. And
You got the street smarts, right?
yeah,
That look how it evolved for you. And so many women, including myself, can relate to that upbringing. And it makes you really think about, okay, wow, well, if I can't rely on the structure as I thought it would be, then
right,
I want more for myself. And how do I make that happen? And
right.
you turn that whole thing, lemons into lemonade, and really, and I love how you maximized your profit. Time is money, right? Love this
Yeah.
really.
And it
And it
worked.
set a foundation.
My
Yeah.
mother ended up coming borrowing money from me because I had a little bathing suit. It was the second drawer on my little bitty chest that I had to share with my brothers and sisters. In this one room, there was 4 of us at the time, and then I would hide my money in that. Well, she knew it. She was borrowing it from me, to help feed us. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's, it
Love
is what
that.
it is. And I look back, and you can either be very unhappy about your childhood, or you decide how to turn it into a good positive. And the positive is that, look, if I hadn't had those experiences, would I be as successful as I have been? Which is, my family just does not they don't get me at all. They're just like, she's a phenomenon out there, love her, but I don't know how she does what she does.
And I think that's a good point that you make, because so often it is our family, friends that don't understand what we're doing behind our desk, sometimes in our pajama bottoms, and they think we're crazy and we should join the traditional world, so to speak. But some of us just really do beat to a different drummer, and we have a vision for ourselves. And it is reinforcing to others to hear you say that even your clan thought there was something a little off, but you knew, and look at the success you made for yourself. So that is basically permission for all of you to be a little bit different. That's okay. Go for it. Be you, right?
This sits on my desk right here. It says, trust your crazy ideas.
Love.
Because
Yes.
you tell somebody else, Tamara, they're like, you know,
Yes.
they don't.
It's
So
and
you
I think
tell somebody
sometimes if
else,
they don't think you're a little crazy, then you're not reaching far enough for your dreams, right? There's
agree. If
mm-hmm,
people don't think you're crazy when you tell them, if you choose to
mm-hmm.
tell them, if they don't think you're crazy, you're right. Your dreams are not big enough because
Yeah, yeah,
people think you're crazy. But I have to remind myself, trust your craziness.
yeah. I love that.
Is
That's
always
great.
part. I mean, we created Chapelwood Financial Services. I mean, we have I founded the financial, somebody will say to me one time I'm being interviewed, Victoria, you always say we, who's this
I do
we?
that too. Yeah.
That little mouse in my pocket was like, no, I was the founder of the Financial District of Oklahoma. I'm state commissioner on the status of women. I mean, there's a lot of things. And in this world that I live in now, with the, because like we have 3 websites. We've got the Chapelwood for our clients, and then we've got the Financial Diva for the people that just love that brand, and they do. So we have one for them because it's more fun and it has all these videos and it has, you know, all these great tips and YouTubes and things like that, and Instagram links. So all of that has created this whole Financial Diva thing, which people really love and embrace. So I had to embrace it because I was very uncomfortable when I was on that. I was being interviewed by a mortgage company. And when they said, we're going to take a break, Victoria, would you mind staying? Because this has been so fascinating. We know we've asked you just for this segment, but would you mind staying through the break? And I said, of course, I was having a ball. Like when
Yeah.
I can share information to help people, that's my wheelhouse. I'm all in.
Yes.
I'm in.
I
So
love this.
I say, sure. And Jason Chartrand, and he looks across from me. The producer's behind me in the studio, and he's across from me. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with the Winnery Mortgage Show with the financial diva, Victoria Woods. That was it.
That's it.
Everywhere I went, I mean, the golf course, the hairdresser, the grocery store, wherever I went, people would start saying that. They'd say, hey, financial diva. And I thought,
Love it. That's,
okay, it took me a long time to embrace it. But once I did, it's just like it stuck, and what better title can you be given as a wealth manager?
I love this.
So now I
Okay,
have
so
a lot of fun with it.
I think that's so fantastic and it's so fitting. And so I know that you work with a lot of millionaires, but can you talk to how you can help, maybe a little bit more of the middle ground women business owners, especially with their money focus and money growth? What are some of the services or ways that you can kind of bring them into your world and help them up level in that area of their life?
Well, that is exactly why, Tamara, I did a radio show. They asked me to do it with no training, no nothing. And I was like, okay, yeah. And it's a call-in show at the time. I loved it. People thought, again, I thought I was crazy. And I said, when I went on, I said, you guys are crazy to give me a live mic and call-in show. Like, I don't know what the producer was thinking. And Mike McCarville, it was like the Rush Limbaugh of Oklahoma. And he said, no, I know this is going to be great. I've heard your interviews. So I just started doing the radio show because, again, then people can ask me questions. I have my book. So this is an easy one. It's a manual. And it's like a roadmap to creating wealth. It's real talk about building wealth. And when you read it, if you've heard me speak, heard my radio show, my podcast, whatever, you're reading it, you're going, oh my gosh, she wrote every word of this. It is written not like the book publishers wanted. So I took it away from them because they would come back. It wasn't my voice.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, this is not for you. It's not for being a best-selling author. It is to help people. And this is what I know my talent is I can help people through my experience, through my resources, through my relationships, my success. I mean, all the things I've done comes out in this book. And it's like, and it just got this is the second edition. This was the first, which you're going to love this, but this was the first book.
I love
And then, and so they came out with the second edition last year, so that they came back and said, would you please just update, just their statistics in here. And Victoria, if there's anything you want to add, oh, this is something we should give your viewers and listeners. I did this. I was interviewed by this gentleman, and he wanted to give something to his audience that nobody else had, and asked me to go to record my book. He said, "Do you have your book recorded?" And I said, "No, it's like time consuming. Just read the book." And he said, well, Victoria, I would like for you to record at least 4 chapters. And I just went, all right. This guy's international. So I go, okay. Well, I happen to have right in that door right there, across the hall is my radio studio. So it's not like I gotta get in the car, I gotta like go downtown like I used to in the olden days. I walk across the hall, but it was the time to do it.
Yeah.
And one day I just said, suck it up, you're gonna do this. It's marketing day, just get in there and get it done. I am telling you, it was so much fun. And because when you're telling the story, there's things that you didn't say or didn't think was appropriate. And I'll say, okay, sidebar, let me tell you.
Yes.
And so I get to tell these stories, and I'm telling you, I had a blast. I didn't do 4, I did 6.
I
Just
love
for
that.
good measure.
Love that.
I was on a roll. So that is a link that we should provide your audience and let
Yes.
them, yes, let
I
them click on it. And you can click on it and either just listen to the link, or there's also a link to my book. I think there's a discount or something.
And this is on your website as well, right? Where they can link out to this, because we're going to
Oh,
use your main link. Yeah. So that's on
Chapelwood,
there. Excellent.
yes,
Excellent. Okay.
Chapelwood,
Okay. Perfect.
yeah, chapelwood.com is the website. And it's
Chapelwood.com.
two P's, one L. So it's
Okay.
chapelwood.com. And that's in, I think it's on every page in here. Yeah, on every page in the book is
Excellent.
chapelwood.com. And then there's this whole section on the financial diva. So you can get them both ways, financial diva, but we've got to provide the link for you. You can't just you can order the book
Yeah.
online, of course, and you can listen to the radio shows. We archive them, all of that. You can go to
Perfect.
any podcast. I don't even know. Producers send it out everywhere. It's Podomatic, Spotify, whatever. iHeart. I
Beautiful.
mean,
Beautiful.
it's just
I
everything.
love it.
All you have to do is
You,
Google me, Victoria Woods. It'll blow your phone up.
there you go. I love this. I love your story, and I really love the way that you are helping to help everybody up level, to share your experiences and your strategies and your systems and all of the things in a way that is like having coffee with your best friend next door, where it's digestible and relatable and all of the things, because money can be such a huge scary monster, and we need to break it down into small segments and have little successes and keep going forward. So speaking of success, I want to get into these success questions with you and talk about your journey a little bit more with some specific questions. So this is so helpful for the women listening, because quite often they run into little snags as they're building their business, and they think, oh, maybe I'm not, yes, maybe I'm not qualified, maybe this isn't for me. And then they'll hear someone like you say something that relates, and they're like, oh, okay, well, she's such a success now and she went through that too. Okay, I am okay, then I can keep going forward. And so the whole idea of being to be the inspiration that you are, it just will transfer and help so many that really can connect with that, because they're building that business now, or they already have an established business. But it's always helpful to be inspired and know someone's journey, right? So
Well,
okay, let me,
that is why though, I just, pardon me for interrupting, but I
no
just
problem.
want you to know that that this place in my life right now, this, you call it the chapter or the season, whatever you
Yeah.
call it and relate to, is that I enjoy so much guest speaking. And I realized about 4 years ago, it was just before COVID, we set up all these guest speaking appearances because I would, pick one or two, or and not just really be focused on it. But I was asked to come to speak at this business group, and these very prominent women that are in the like in the second row that I know. I was like so impressed. But there was 450 young women, small business owners, some college students, and I realized how much I loved, getting back to that. It
Yeah.
reminded me, I was asked to speak on the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. And I'm like, I'm on vacation, and I just told my husband I would not work. And they asked me, and I said, okay, this is the deal. First, I have to get approval from my husband and get his blessing, which I knew I could talk him into it. because, but I had literally like the night before had promised him. And I said, and I will only do it at the end of the trip because I knew if I did it at the beginning, I would not have a vacation. My
That's right. All
husband,
the questions would be coming.
yes, he would be so unhappy. But what they had me do, which was shocking, because this was a transatlantic cruise, but was shocking, is they had me speak in the ballroom, like at nighttime with the big, I said, no, 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 no. I want a small, quaint little room. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And this guy says, no, no, no. I know my people. The cruise director says, no, I know these people. The place was packed. They had two runners. And what is that? Like 1,000 people? I don't know. They had two runners going back and forth. And all I did was say, I'm going to spend the first 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you what you need to know right now. And there was a big deal going on with Goldman Sachs, with the market. So I said, I'm just going to share with you the top things that you need to know. And then I'm going to answer your questions. They couldn't believe I would do this. I don't care. If I don't know an answer, I will be the happy. I had so much fun. And they had runners going back and forth in that theater, asking questions, so much so that all of a sudden the director came on and said, this has got to be our last question. He said, Miss Woods, please turn around. And I had walked down to the edge of the stage because I'm addressing this side of the room. And I turned around and the muscle got the Russian guys that all balance and do all that stuff. They're rehearsing behind me. And I was in
Cirque du Soleil.
I was infringing on the rehearsal time. They didn't care. They're like, we're rehearsing, lady, whatever you're doing. And I turned around, I was like, I am so sorry.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
When I can answer questions, and that's why we do the radio show. It's always
Yeah.
just informative. But when I can guest speak at women's organizations and for entrepreneurs, especially small business entrepreneurs, those are my passion because I've traveled that journey. And I know how challenging it is for women in particular, no matter what they say, oh, the poor men are having a difficult time right now. Well, let me tell you about our time. We have, it costs us more money. We still are 60 to 70% of taking care of the family, whether it's our kids, our parents, whomever, we still have more responsibility there. So it's never going to be 50-50, girls. And I tell them that all the time. So let's not be unhappy about it. Let's embrace it and let's figure out, how can we make it all happen?
Right. Be solution oriented.
Yes. And
Absolutely.
be happy about it.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
I answered questions. I'm sorry. Let's
No,
go.
I love this because you shared a lot. One of the questions I was going to ask in this group of questions is how did you first market yourself when you started your business? And it just seems obvious, just whatever potential opportunity to guest speak or share your wisdom, whether it's a radio show or somebody's platform or a cruise ship. Would you recommend, and we'll get into the other questions, but since we're just following this with such an amazing way to be able to share your wisdom on a beautiful cruise. Wow, I love that. When you first started your business though, what was the first way that you marketed it? Just like one way.
First of all, this is what the mistake I have seen people make, and I did it too. So I'm the first one to say, when I make a mistake, when we talk about it in my book about money mistakes, we've all made them. If you're over 12 years old, you have made mistakes with money. So we don't beat ourselves up. We learn from them, because I say also in the book, education is expensive. So when you make a mistake, you don't beat yourself up, whether it's a business mistake, a hire mistake, an advertising mistake. You make a mistake, you stop, you realize, okay, this is not working. This is not a good ROI, return on my investment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my mindset about, oh, I'm terrible, I made a big mistake, I'm not worthy, I'm an imposter, all the things that go on in our head. You stop that and you say, you know what? That was such a great investment in my education. We learn from it. We don't do it again. I talk about it in the book. I tell them about my biggest, I said, not to embarrass anyone, because I bring up all these things about it. Anybody ringing a bell here? about what it is that you have made a big money mistake. And it's like you don't trust yourself. And you have to trust yourself. So you have to turn it around and say, okay, this was a great investment. Think about how much you spent in college, or think about what you've invested in your education. So just turn it around to life-changing. Not, it's okay. It's an investment into my education so I can help myself, help my
Right.
company, help my employees, help my clients. In this May, I always put these things back here and I go, something comes up, I go, no worries, I got this. Been there,
I
done
love
that.
that.
Talk
Yes.
about real estate. I can tell you exactly, the things that I've always been super successful with my
Yeah.
real estate investments. So I talk about that in the book and about what to look for. So just look at those things as an investment, and it will change the way you feel about the experience.
A lot of things, a lot of our beliefs, really, if we just do a paradigm shift, we look at them so differently. And somehow we've been conditioned to think of loss or mistakes as something negative, and it is so not the truth. In fact, if you're
Should
failing, it means you're trying, and that is a winning scenario right there.
I would rather meet somebody that says, oh, Victoria, I have failed at this and this and this. And I go, well, what are you doing now? And what'd you
Yeah.
learn from that?
Yeah.
Because it is about what you take in life.
Hmm.
And I'll say a lot of times on the radio show, a negative thing that happens in the market or the money. And I'll say, well, let me give you a different perspective.
Yeah.
And so it's really, and I'm very adamant about, and I don't work with people that don't read. And I've always said, you have, like, I list books in the back of my book you must read these. And it is Power of the Subconscious Mind. That is, if you
Yes.
read nothing else by
Yes.
Dr. Joseph Murphy, and more
Yes.
importantly, you read it multiple times. You
Yeah.
read it when you're in your 20s, then you read it again in your 30s. Then
Hmm.
again, I've probably read that book throughout my career, probably um, at least 6 times,
Yeah.
at
I
least.
do believe that. And
Yeah.
it's like anything in life, repetition is the mother of skill, because at first anything's going to be foreign, whether you're working out a new muscle in the gym or you are looking at a financial opportunity, and trying to learn about the prospectus and how to understand stocks and all the things, or you're going to college, whatever it is, crawling to walking, everything is uncomfortable at first until we master it. We only master it through repetition and awareness. So
Absolutely.
I love that. I mean, you're giving so much gold, I almost can throw these questions away, really. But I just wanted to go over maybe a couple. Let's see. If you I always like to ask this one because it really narrows in. So if you could only choose one answer, what is the number one way that building your business has enriched your life, and why would you recommend it for other women to also go for it?
I mean, the enrichment comes into the freedom. Now, I get to choose if I want to spend time with you. See, I have a mantra, and my team knows it. Everybody that knows me knows that I say this 100 times. And that is, we don't waste time, we don't waste money, and we don't waste opportunity. In that order, because number one, time is all you have. And you said it earlier, time is money. So how do we maximize what we're doing every day and being very intentional? I'm very purpose driven. I have to accomplish something by usually 11:30. I know that that's a key time for me, 11:30. And I had a friend that would call and say, his name was Tom, and he would call me, and anytime he called, he'd say this to me. It's like, not good morning, how you doing, Diva? He would say to me, have you made any money today? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'd go, no, so I can't talk to you right now. Bye. Not
Mm-hmm.
yet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have this thing, and my team knows, do not bother her till 12:30. Because if she's accomplished something, acquired a new client, if I've invested money for somebody, if I've taught, whatever I have done that I know is driving my business and growing my business, they know, don't talk to her. And it can be 1:30, but by 2:30 every day, something has to have been accomplished for me to be satisfied.
I love this. And you know what? I'm going to go rogue here with my questions because I think this is important. A lot of times, women business owners or business owners in general tend to involve themselves in a lot of busy work because it makes them feel productive. They get a little quick win. It's an endorphin rush,
Yep.
but it's not, it's not bringing money on the table, which means business is about making a profit so you can stay in business and help more people. So can you maybe talk to that? How, or give suggestions of how people can get out of their own way and be really self-honest about, are you doing busy work or are you doing money focused activities? Because I think it's a hard one, especially sometimes for women.
Very hard. Especially now, I've started 3 businesses out of my home. Now I have a beautiful 3.5 acres here, but they pushed me out of my house. I created 3 businesses. I can create a business in a back bedroom. I've done it 3 times, very successful, but I'm very focus driven. I get up like I'm going to work. I take a shower, I get dressed, whether it's just in, casual clothes or dressed before we even had Zooms, and I would go to that office and I go in and I shut the door and I work. So people, they pass the kitchen, they go, man, I need to go do those dishes. Oh, I passed the laundry room, I need to do laundry. Well, yeah, we do.
Mhm.
Not during work hour time.
Mhm.
And you get to control it. But we see women who say, oh, I'm talking to so-and-so. I see these women, because there's something called Scrum. And we use it in our office. And you have to, I require everybody to put a number to the important things. So when I see, oh, I'm going to make a phone call, I'm going to send an email, I'm going to do, no, that's not a 13. That's a
Mhm.
3. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna send an email, I'm gonna create a video, no, it's talking to your prospective clients. So I did something called an 30-day e-challenge for women. And it's called How to Outsell All the Boys. And I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything great until Michelle, who was working for me, sent it out to these women, said, I want to do a test. Victoria's created this. She came back with the responses from these women were incredible, saying, Victoria, I thought, the first week was tough, but you telling me about a routine and a process, and I have done, and by week 2, I thought this will take months to get. By week 2, they would be coming back, said, I sent out more proposals, I got more yeses. I didn't think, I thought differently about it because you say structure, process, routine,
Mhm.
whatever
Mhm.
you want to call it, you have to have that every day. It's like, what do
Yeah.
you do when you wake up? Do you pick up your phone and start looking at emails? What do you do? And that we all know that's wrong, but you still want to do it.
Yeah.
You have to be, so what is this? Consistency will always outperform occasional brilliance.
Oh, I like that. So
Consistency
true.
will always outperform, okay? And I can show you numbers how that is so true. And I've said that for my life because I left the corporate world at 23
Yeah.
because I actually thought I knew better than them, which I did. They want busy work. They wanted me as the management. They wanted their top salesperson in the entire store in running 7 departments in a department store. They would give me a hard time about not spending time doing an employee schedule for each department.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, gentlemen, this is the deal. You want me out on the floor at 10 o'clock. So anybody can put a schedule together. Nobody
Mhm.
can create sales like I can because I
Mhm.
care, because I'm passionate. And when someone says, oh, I'm going to this interview, I don't take you to party dresses. I'm
Yeah.
focused, intentional. I'm going to help you save time. Let's go. you know?
I like what you're saying, and I think I might even go off a little bit rogue again, because some of the things you're saying lead me into some other things that sometimes women get into trouble with. So you knew that your best asset was in sales. Sales makes money. Why did that guy not put you in your best position and outsource it, the other stuff, the busy work, to others? A lot of women try and do everything, things they're good at, things they're not good at, things they like, things they don't like. They sometimes can get overwhelmed, and but they can't let go of the control. They want to try and do all of the things, or they're worried they can't make it happen to afford help. But can you talk a little bit to why outsourcing some of the work is a way
Everything.
to grow and become much more successful and sane in the process?
Yes. You have to trust yourself and trust other people that will tell you. When I'm on a panel, which I was working on one with this enterprising women group, where they want me to speak, because they want me to be in wealth management, but they also want me on marketing and branding. And I was like, y'all decide, because I'm good with all of
Mm-hmm.
it, because
Yeah.
everything is about money.
Yeah.
And I will, no matter what you ask me to speak on, it's going to be about money.
Yeah.
Because if you choose to live on planet Earth,
Yeah.
you are either earning money, spending
Mm-hmm.
money, investing money, or giving
Mm-hmm.
money away
Yeah.
24 hours a day. So
That's
don't,
right.
when people say to me, I love, let's get this whole thing, it's all about the money, honey. Oh, Victoria, it's not. It's about love. It's about, no, it's not. If
No.
you choose to live on planet Earth, you have to
Mm-hmm.
understand and embrace and love money
Yes.
like you
Mm-hmm.
attract it. When people
Mm-hmm.
don't, I have this a DVD that I give women about as a, this is one of my favorite gifts, and it's a CD DVD. It's a CD, but now we can download it. But it was I mean, I like to give somebody a gift, and this CD has a money mantra. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. If
Mm-hmm.
you say, "Oh my gosh, it's so hard," it's gonna be hard. If you go, money just flows to me easily and effortlessly. I talk in the book about going to mailbox money. And the days that I would run to the mailbox, and my husband thought I was crazy, of course. And it's like, what are you looking for? And I go, I don't know, but I'm gonna have a check in here someday. It's gonna be like
Mm-hmm.
out of the blue, a check. And he would just say, and I lived in an apartment, and he would take me home before we were married, and I'd say, stop at the mailbox. And I always did it. And one day I open up this envelope and I go, told ya, it's like $1,200 or something.
There you
I
go. Right.
told you it was coming, because if you believe it, I don't even remember, it was just a windfall.
Yeah.
I've said that my whole life. 2 years ago, I got a drop in. I'm looking at my account and I go, this is $85,000. And I went, wait a second. Who did that come from? That's a mistake. It's in my account. But I always say, I expect unexpected money.
Yeah.
Flows
Mm-hmm.
easily and effortlessly from all sources. It just comes unexpectedly.
That
And
mindset is everything. It really is. And it's a mindset to allow yourself to be prepared to hire out, to be able to do that.
yes,
What, when did you know that you were ready to bring on your first virtual assistant or actual assistant? Your very first,
I
when
was
was,
I was scared to death.
yeah.
Uh, I did it when I was officing out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I bring in an assistant and put her in the kitchen. I'm in the bedroom, she's in the kitchen. Then I bring another one on and they're in the den. Then I bring another one on, a CPA person, and they were in my dining room. And my CPA, my husband sat me down and said, okay, look, you got to go get her in the office. There's too many
Mm-hmm.
cars coming. You have people coming in to interview you. You've got to go get a real office. And I'm like, no, I like the rent here. I like the
Yeah.
tax deduction here.
Yeah.
But of course, they were right. And I had to do that on one business. Another business, I went ahead and hired, even though you knew that maybe you're not going to get paid, but I have never missed a payroll. So what I would do, which is insane though, but I would set aside money, and I've got an account today. When I hire a new person, I've got 1 year's salary sitting in an account.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Well, you say it,
Beautiful
but
idea.
I'm like, then it's a whole year, you idiot. If you'd have hired her to begin with, you could have, but I just don't have, I have to have that for me. Because I would never want to, I've never had to fire anybody. I've never not paid my sources. I hear these women, they get in these, like, how did that happen? I could not live with myself. And I never wanted really to have a partner because again, I didn't want, if I fail, it's all me.
Yeah.
If I win,
Mhm.
it's, I get the accolades for it. But it is, but bringing those people along with you, when you start hiring and you realize, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? I should have done this so much earlier. That is every single person I know that's
Mhm.
successful
Yes.
has, when they look back, you go, I wish I would have done it sooner. The
Well,
things,
I like,
outsourcing everything you can. It's just
yeah.
like if you have to have a young woman, I had a Zoom before here today, and we're using AIs and we're using Fathom to be able to document. Instead of having somebody there taking notes for you and doing all this, use the resource. $20 a month. Don't.
I love this, everything that you just said. I love the idea that you are making note of the automations that are available. AI is just going to keep growing bigger and stronger as we go forward. But I really also love for any of the women that are really wanting to start hiring, knowing that you either want to outsource something you don't like, or you're just so busy and you don't want to feel overwhelmed. I really think that this is such a great, like, permission slip almost. Save 6 months of that person's salary in
I was gonna
advance.
say, yeah,
And then
now I
it's like
would do maybe, yeah,
you
six
get a
months.
permission to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. six
and
months to a year.
if I did 6 months, then I would have had that person, their contribution. And you also think, women think, it's easier to do it myself because if I have to train somebody, I might as well do it myself. And they're not going to do it the way I want it. Well,
It,
let's get over all that. Nobody's
yeah,
going to do anything the way you would do it. But
that's right.
let's don't go for perfection. Let's go
That's
for
right.
results. So if they, have the right heart and do your best to hire the right person, and we all make mistakes in our hires because we want sometimes more for them and see more potential in them than they are willing in the effort to give. It's just the way it is. But I hire on a person's character. I want to know, what they think and how they think and what's their ambition. And then I say, okay, if they're trainable, and I
Yeah.
call it, and I let them know this. I said, what I have to know is, first of all, if they understand our culture, because we're a little different from a financial firm. I mean, kind of look around. We are a little different here,
Yeah.
but we have a different culture. And our clients are number one. Nothing trumps a client.
Yeah.
If a client has an issue and we don't wait for them to call us, we call them. So
Yeah.
we're always in an outreach. So everyone here has to understand the culture. And that's why I say, read Power of the Subconscious Mind to get your mindset right. Read the 10X rule. Read Obsessed or Be
Mhm.
Average, you know.
I just finished the 10X rule, by the way. I got very motivated. It's a great book. Really, really a good book.
Well, if you think that's a great book, wait till you read Obsessed. I did
Okay.
10X once,
Hmm.
be obsessed or be average. I've read that one and listened to it while working
Hmm.
out. Again, multitasking. Nowadays,
Hmm.
everything can be easier. You can educate yourself with your phone. You can
Yes, it's
get
so true.
audibles and you just
Yeah.
listen. And I've always got a notepad. I'm walking around the gym. People know, don't bother her. She's got her headset
Yep.
on. I'm writing notes about, I'll
Hmm.
stop, pause it, and take some notes to share with my
Hmm.
team. But
And
I,
we're talking about, just so the audience knows, we're talking about Grant Cardone's book,
yes,
The 10 Times Rule, and then Be
10X.
Obsessed. It's very
It's
good.
called the 10X rule and obsessed or be average.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I have two more questions for you before we wrap up. And I love this, and I love the whole idea because mindset is everything. Time is your most important resource. So this is another reason why if you can get to the place of outsourcing, you are giving yourself the gift of time. You're also helping give jobs to others. So it's a benefit all the way around.
Look at
Um,
way, and but also not only is it you're going to get some insights that you go, really, I didn't think about that. Because a lot
Yes.
of times what happens, Tamara, these are just diva-isms, there's pages of them. But I will tell women when I'm talking to them, I go, this is when you talk about a perspective, I'll say, why, it appears to me that you're inside your bottle,
Mm-hmm.
it's impossible. You cannot read your label.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good point.
So what
That's
you
right.
do is you want fresh ideas and
That's
you
right.
want a soundboard. And if you don't have, if you don't feel comfortable hiring an employee yet, get a little board of your own to get perspective so that it will save you time in making a mistake. I have a client advisory board and I wanted to do these seminars and they said like, no, don't do it. It's a waste of your time. I'm like, what? They
Yeah.
said, Victoria, you do so much for us now, and your
Mm.
outreach, we have 100% retention for that reason. Is because we're always doing the outreach. We don't wait
Yes.
for people to call us. And when you give yourself that permission to hire that person, they'll give you different perspectives. So
Mm-hmm.
listen, and then take the time to train them if they understand your culture to me,
Right.
there's number one and our culture is number two. And that means
Yeah.
they have to be coachable.
Yeah.
If they're eager to learn, oh, I will be your
Yes.
best friend. I will give you the coat off my back. I mean,
I love it. Really great advice. I love it because it's really how someone can start to scale their business and such great perspective on how you went about doing this and what matters, like what they should be focusing on when they go ahead and decide to scale and hire out. So I love this. I wanted to ask you, what is your number one professional tip for women to grow their business? If you could choose just one thing out of all of the millions of things we can do to grow our business, if there was
exactly. There's
only
millions.
one.
There's one. It's invest in yourself.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
truly is.
Love that.
That means investing in yourself is what we just talked about.
That's
Hire
right.
people that can do that job and be satisfied with
Mm-hmm.
that, with no perfection. That if they're doing it 80%, then
Mm-hmm.
be grateful for that 80% that
Right.
frees you up to
Yes.
do what you do best. Like for me,
That's it.
doing
That's it.
scheduling. It
That's
is
right.
invest in yourself, and that is invest in your people, invest in education, just like I said,
Mm-hmm.
read the book, listen to the audio continuously. And that's my routine every day, is that when I get up, I
Yeah.
don't do this. I go to the gym, I listen to something, get my mind right before. And I've always done this. And of course, I'm a huge goal setter. And I talk about in the book, you've got to write them down. You can't have
Yeah.
it in your head. They,
That's right.
they don't they don't do anybody any good up there.
Nope.
Once they're up there, though, they must come out. You
Yeah.
must write them, and then you must say them out.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then the fourth thing really is then you must believe them. And
Yes.
I have been bulletproof since I was 23. I was very fortunate to have some training that I invested
Mm-hmm.
a lot of time in with these people that I learned all of these things, like power of the subconscious mind,
Yes.
being very intentional and, have an organization and a process for everything that you do.
Love this. And my final question is, how do you define success? What does that look like in a day in your life?
I love that question, but can I say one more thing about the other outsourcing?
Absolutely.
Well, the other thing that when you're on a panel, which I love a panel because you get to hear other women's journey as well. But investing in employees is one thing, but again, investing in yourself means we talk about this on panels. If we were to do it again, what would you do differently? And I say I would hire before I needed it.
Yeah.
Before you need it, you hire before you need it. And also when you invest in yourself, that means personally. So investing in a coach to me, if I were to go back, I would always say I couldn't afford it. Well, when people come to me and I ask them about their business and I say, well, what does your CPA do and how do they work with you? And they say, well, I can't afford a CPA. And I stop, no more time of mine, then you can't afford to be in business because that is the
Yes.
first person you hire is somebody you know where the money is, but you hire that person to keep account of it for you and give you reports so you can look at it. Because I'm all about statistics.
Yes.
Like 90% of women will manage their own money.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this, that 90%
Yeah.
manage their own money. This is
Yeah.
statistic year after year.
Yeah.
Some point in their life by themselves without a spouse for them and or their children.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You have to know about money.
I
Just,
agree.
and then you hire somebody, you hire an
Absolutely.
advisor, or you
Yes.
go to an advisor like me to listen, to read their books until, and get where you want to be until you can afford to hire them outright. We call that, we have a program for aspiring millionaires because we
Um,
want you to get there as quickly as possible. So it's really about hiring. I would have hired a coach because I've hired several business coaches over the years and always been successful with them. I've never, but I'm selected, and I've
yes.
a great deal of my first coach was Tony Robbins. I've got his
Yes.
track
Mhm.
cassette tapes
Oh yeah. I remember. I have those too.
in that closet right there. That was in that.
Absolutely.
Oh, and nobody can get Victoria. What are you going to do with them? Doesn't matter. This was my mentor in my car
Okay.
every day. So
Yes.
this was as close as I could get. So, but hiring a coach as I would have hired a coach earlier. And
Yes.
I mean, now I have 3 coaches that I work with.
Agreed.
A business coach, one's, works with me on the different things. Um,
And what you're saying, I love because it people have beautiful business ideas and sometimes they are a hobby. And until you really put down the tax, like hiring the right people, educating yourself, getting yourself a coach, making it so real that you finally say, wow, this is really real. And I'm helping people and I have clients. And all of a sudden, you have to have your mind, allow your mind to evolve,
yeah,
and accept and own that new position that you've created, that you're being of service to others. But then you need the support system so you can sustain it and scale it and make it magical for yourself, where you find the joy for the reason you started it in the first place, right? And so I love everything you had to say, and I definitely want to know, like, what is it like? What is a perfect day in your life? How do you define that successful day? And I know it can change depending on the scenario, but let's just assume it's a work day. Like, what does that look like to you, the perfect work day?
I thought you were going to say, what's the perfect day? It is all about freedom. And if I want to go
Mm-hmm.
spend 3 months in Spain, I can do it. I just spent 4 weeks, but and that is because, see, that's the other thing. People define this workday, life balance. Uh-uh.
Mm-hmm.
I live my life while I'm working, and I work while I'm living my life.
Love that.
It's
That's
just,
fantastic.
it
That's
is.
it.
It's all it's who I am.
Yep.
So I tried the whole life balance thing that they took. No, that did not work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much happier when I'm in Spain and I can work when I want. I can journal, I can get on with a client, I can do a Zoom, I can do what I want when I want, and I get to decide the priorities. That's why I left the corporate world at 23, scared to death. I had no job, I had nothing. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I wasn't going to do this anymore. I was like,
That's
and
right.
this is a gentleman that hired me when I was 15, and now I'm 23, brings me from Fort Worth to Dallas, but I'm Mr. Acid, and he just knew I was going to come back. He escorted me to the door, bright sunny day, my last day. Nobody could believe it that I would actually do this. And he says, well, she's going to come back. You know what I was saying as he's walking me out? And I love this man. I truly loved him. I thought, I will eat dirt and rocks. I will live in my car before I admit failure, that I will figure this out. I don't know.
Burn the boats. Burn the boats.
Burn it.
Right?
And then
Yep.
you don't have an option.
That's right.
You just figure, and my mom would say, go figure it out. I was like, well, why don't you just tell me? Just go figure it out. Just
Right?
like,
It was sort of like, yeah, like Maria Forleo's mom said, everything is figure outable. It's so true. I love everything that you just said and how you basically loved yourself enough to invest in yourself, knew you can
Yes,
count on
yes,
figuring it
yes.
out,
Mhm.
right? All
Yeah,
about the
count on
belief
yourself.
system first.
Yes, it is. And you have to. And you're gonna, okay, this is another little tip. Okay, you gotta realize, I mean, this has been my whole life. So I got a lot. But you're gonna have struggles and you're gonna have days where you feel like the world hates you.
Mhm.
Nobody likes you. Nobody's gonna say yes to you. You're just gonna feel those days. So this is what I do. I have a cabinet over here full of thank you notes.
Mhm.
And when you have that day, you reach in your little magic bag and you
That's
just
right.
pull out a note and you read it to yourself. You
Mhm.
have to remind yourself
Of
who
why.
you are, what you've done, because sometimes we're looking so forward that we forget how we've contributed to someone. I had a woman tell me that I didn't relate to women and that I needed to change my whole approach and all this, devastating to me. And right after this Zoom call, I had a very important client with her attorney, and I was devastated. I was crushed. I was felt like a failure. I mean, here I am. I'm like
Yeah.
I couldn't get my mind right.
Yeah.
And I couldn't think of anything to do. I just like, I don't have time to dig through. I need a bunch of thank yous. And I remembered this video from a young lady in New York that expressed to me in tears how I changed her life when she met me at this women's conference and how she has gone from a house cleaner and I mentored her and she's a senior director now of a manager of the Jewel Hotel at Rockefeller Center.
Whoa. Nice.
So she
Nice.
got, and she called me crying when she got that promotion. And I got that out and I listened to it and I was like, get yourself together, you know. And I still wasn't 100%, but I
Yeah.
knew that that client and her attorney needed 100% of me.
That's right. That's right.
Have to get your mind right. You don't cancel it. You don't fall apart. You just go, you know what? I got this. And still, was I uncomfortable? I really was shaking. I've never been talked to by a woman that way that
Yeah.
made me feel so much less
Yeah.
than
I think,
what.
yeah, it when it happens, and it happens to all of us because it never happened before the first couple times or the first
Yeah.
time, it is so stinging. And I remember we spoke about this. I went through all of my testimonials that my client loved that they gave to me. And I said, oh my goodness, I am helping, I am serving, they do love me, they do want me, they do need me. And there's always going
Changes
to
your
be.
mindset.
Right. There's always going to be one negative Nelly or two. And
Yes.
it's always wise to, if it, see if there's any constructive criticism. Maybe it will help you evolve and grow,
Yeah.
but maybe it's just
And it
someone
did.
having a bad mood and they got on your case and you took it to heart. And you have to I always like to do life in a little bit in the 80-20 rule, where I always allow about 20% to, whether it's a diet or exercise plan or a client not being happy or a bad work day, if 80% of the time is really good, please reward yourself, women. You are doing amazing things. And don't worry so much about the 20% of people that have a negative attitude towards you or criticism, or the 20% of the time you fell off your diet. Forgive yourself, dust yourself off, remind yourself of your magnificence and keep going forward. And what Victoria just said, people are counting on you to show up that really need you, and you are of to be of service to them. So it's no offense, but it's not about you. It's about you getting away and ahead of yourself so you can be there for somebody else. And so that is such wise advice, Victoria. I love it because we've
You
all
just said,
experienced it.
yes, and you probably will again. So when
Yeah.
that happens,
Yes.
I love what you just said. And you just said about, and I love healthy, what do you call this? Wealthy women habits. I love that. It's like, I'm going to change routine and processes and all that to,
That's
wealthy
right.
women.
Yep.
I love it because
Yep.
it is about a habit. And what you just said is so important that you have to show up for people. So what you have to do is figure out what works for you. Is it have something close by that you can
Mhm.
grab onto to make
As a
sure that you
reminder.
do that as a reminder to get your mind right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Best thing you can do, which I didn't do for years until recently, that when this happened, and you said something about, learn from it, grow from it. Do you know I was just on a Zoom and that woman was on the call and she is my best supporter, fan, diva fan, Victoria. And what I did is instead of, which I would have done younger, I don't need that toxic around me. I'm not doing this. I just knew she was a good woman. She just was harsh in the way she talked, in the way she presented it, that I had two choices. I can either discard her and like, you're out of my life. I don't need this in my life. Or how can I turn this around?
Yeah.
Now, which would have been easier?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to let her go. But there's always a learning lesson and there's a growth lesson in everything, even the obstacles and the moments that sting us. This is
Yeah,
an opportunity for you to up level, basically. You're being tested basically to show up and show up more for yourself and for others. So yeah,
but
go the longer distance and be there for the person. And we never know what others are going through, right?
exactly. That
Yeah.
is so true. I tell my team all the time. There's a new commercial about this guy getting blown off the road and people yelling and screaming at him. And they go and show he'd just come from the doctor and he'd been diagnosed with cancer and stuff. And I tell my team, I've always said that, give people grace because you do not know what they're going through.
Absolutely.
And it's not your
Absolutely.
job to know, it is your
Exactly.
job to show grace and
Yes.
just to be kind to everybody, no matter what. But if you
Absolutely.
don't talk to yourself in the mirror every morning, you are missing out.
Yeah. Be
You
kind
had
to yourself
said,
first.
you had said about forgiving yourself and being, because we beat our, especially women, beat
Yeah.
ourselves.
Mhm.
However, this guy challenged me to look in the mirror every day. He said, how many times do you tell somebody you love them? And he would ask me all these questions, business coach. And then he said, how many times have you looked in the mirror in your own eyes and said, I love you? Never. Like, what? Who does that? He challenged me to do it for
Mm.
1 week. And you have to say, I love you and be sincere and look in the mirror in your own eyes, like you would your husband or your child or your mother or your father. You look in your own eyes and say 10 different times, not I love you, I love you, I love you. It's I love you.
Mm.
I love you. You
Yeah.
are doing a great job. You have a
Yeah.
blessing. You give your own self a pep talk. I am telling you, change my, I talk to myself every morning now.
I I
And when I
think
forget, I
this,
say, I'm gonna forgive you for this, but I'll be putting on my mascara and go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't say I love you this morning.
oh, I love this.
What you do. And it
This
becomes
is
a habit.
yeah.
And a
Yeah.
habit, you got a wealthy, this is a, if I would have been doing this since I was in my 20s, I just think, can you imagine
Wow.
how much more
Yeah.
successful we could be if we would just love ourselves more?
I think that is the most beautiful way to wrap this amazing interview up because that I love you is the foundational piece for any part of your life, not just your business. So please, women, take Victoria's advice. And Victoria, one more time before we sign off, can you just give them the website address so that they can go ahead and see all that is and your book if you want to show your book one more time so that they can see that. It's all
So,
about the money, honey.
it's all about the money, honey. And it
Love
is
it.
chapelwood.com, which is two P's, one L. So CHAPPELWOOD.com or financialdiva.com.
I
But
love this.
Instagram is financial diva underscore. So there is, but you can pull it up there. There's
On
connection.
the main. That's
YouTube.
perfect.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
YouTube. A guy called me over the weekend and it was about football. And he called me up and he goes, oh my gosh, Victoria. He says, I got to tell you the story. He goes, I'm laying in bed and all of a sudden I hear your voice and I look up on my TV and my YouTube channel was just, shuffling and there you were. You were in Spain talking about travel. You're giving travel tips. You're supposed
Love
to
it.
be on vacation.
Love it. I love this. Well, this is the greatest thing. When you're so passionate about what you do in life, it doesn't feel like work and you never really let it out of your mind and your heart. You're always thinking, and this is joy. That is joy. And that is what I really did understand what you were saying about there's no such thing as this work-life balance. You are just so involved and the freedom is just show up when you want to show up for your business and when you don't. but you're just so passionate about it that it
Can't
does
help
not feel like you're pulling, you're running towards it. So
it. You
thank
don't
you so
you don't
very,
have to be
yeah,
that structured and rigid, like I'm
yes,
working or I'm not.
exactly,
Just
exactly.
enjoy it, embrace it all. If you've got kids, I've taken them all on appointments with me. This
Yep,
is the deal.
that's
Nope,
right. That's
they're
right.
with me, they're visiting. This is what we're gonna do. So just enjoy and embrace all that. To me, that's truly success. When you
Absolutely. I
to go
couldn't agree more.
do what you want.
Success is your happiness. Yes.
Absolutely.
Victoria, thank you so much for such a beautiful and so
Um,
helpful interview. There's so much gold in this success story of yours, and I'm just so thankful, and I cannot wait to share it with everybody because it is a blessing. And
thank you.
your wisdom and your expertise and your just awareness of what it is for all of us women trying to build up these dream businesses and these dream lives. I mean, you're an example, you're an inspiration, and I just want to say
Oh,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much for
Oh, thank
being a part
you.
of this.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
for all you're doing for women. I cannot
Oh,
tell you, that is my passion. So thank you so much for what you're doing for all of us.
thank you so much. Oh, that means everything to me. So, all right, ladies, you heard it. Now, just share this interview with other women, share it with everybody that you know, watch it more than once, just really absorb these lessons. Do a little new lesson every day. You don't have to do it all at once, just a little bit. And don't forget to say I love you to yourself because you are so worthy of so much love and joy and happiness and all the good things, and just get your mindset focused on that. And
Can I give
that's
you,
all until the next time.
can I
So
give you
thank
my best advice?
yes,
I
please.
end my radio show with this every single radio show for all these years. And it's my best advice, and it's never going to change. Doesn't change with the wind. It's the same. Don't take advice from broke people,
Um,
physically, financially, or spiritually.
yes, love. Love that. Couldn't say it better. Agreed. Thank you so much. Another pearl of wisdom. Just fantastic. We could talk for hours. I know that. Thank you so much, Victoria. And thank you, all of you beautiful women building your beautiful businesses that are going to be of service to other people. You are doing a really wonderful thing by going forward and pursuing those dreams because you're being a blessing to others. So thank you for what you're doing in this world.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. See you next time. Bye for now.